TLC celebs weighing that much. During their most recent trip, sisters traveled across the ocean to London, which is located in England. Tammy and Amy Slaton traveled abroad with their family in order to take in the sights and experiences of the destination. Buckingham Palace was one of the most popular tourist locations that the sisters visited during their travels. Their TLC show, 1,000 Sisters, showcased the long-awaited trip that the family had been looking forward to. The Slaton sisters, Tammy and Amy, are on their way to London. 1,000 Tammy and Amy Slaton, who are sisters, recently traveled to London with their husband and children. The couple was joined by their siblings, Amanda, Misty, and Chris, as well as Brittany, who is married to Chris. In the course of their vacation, the family traveled throughout the city on a sightseeing bus. Buckingham Palace was the location where the tour came to a halt. In her words, Amy referred to the palace as "my future house." She went on to say, "There's no one who resides in this palace that I am aware of, but I wish I did. Either Prince Charles or Lady Macbeth might be the one responsible for this. Oh, I have no idea." Within the palace, Tammy, Amy, and the rest of the family take a stroll around the exterior. Tammy gets teased by Amy at the same time. The woman advises her to make an effort to make the guards at the palace laugh, as Amy explains to her sister, "If we want to go see the guys who are wearing the strange hats, we can't go past the gates." However, we did meet with a few of the guards. Amy and Amanda go to the palace guards and attempt to talk to them and flirt with them. Through the fence, she makes a playful remark to a security guard saying, "I love a man with a British accent." The next thing that Amy says is, "I bet they were single, and I'm ready to mingle. You want to get your hands on my Pringles?" Following that, she erupts into fits of laughing. There is a greater interest in London wildlife among Tammy Slaton. Tammy Slaton, on the other hand, is more likely to be interested in the local fauna than in the conventional tourist attractions. Tammy is concentrating on a pigeon that is located nearby, while Amy Slaton and Amanda are making fun of the guards at Buckingham Palace. Tammy makes a variety of amusing noises in an effort to attract the attention of the birds. She explains to her sister Amy that she is attempting to take a photograph of the figure known as the chicken. "That ain't a chicken," Amy says to her sister. "The bird in question is a pigeon." In response to Amy, Tammy says, "He is quite attractive. It's possible that I've never seen a pigeon in the state of Kentucky. I am aware that they are so deadly and everything, and that if you consume their feces, it might potentially be fatal to you. Despite the fact that they are toxic, they are beautiful birds, and I'm not used to seeing another bird that close up." It was a sunny morning in Louisville when the Slaton sisters, Amy and Tammy, received a surprising invitation. A British tabloid had caught wind of their rise to fame and thought they'd make for some colorful commentary at a royal event. Of course, Tammy wasn't about to turn down an opportunity to speak her mind, especially if it involved poking fun at one of the most iconic structures in the world. "Amy, you gotta be kidding me," Tammy said, squinting at the email on her phone. "They want us to go to Buckingham Palace?" Amy raised an eyebrow, tossing her hair back as she squinted at the screen too. "Sounds like it's one of those fancy things where people wear crowns and pretend they're better than us." Tammy giggled, the image of the royals in their lavish attire making her feel somewhat at home. "Well, I'm not sure about that. I'm more of a fried chicken, sweatpants kind of girl. But hey, I wouldn't mind trying on one of those fancy hats." The sisters were already known for their no-nonsense attitudes, humor, and candid approach to fame and Buckingham Palace. Well, that was no exception. Fast forward to the grand day of their departure. With their bags packed and spirits high, they hopped on a private plane, one that was far more comfortable than the crowded buses they were used to. The British countryside unfolded beneath them, and Amy couldn't help but let out a sigh of excitement. "I gotta admit, this is kinda wild," Amy said, adjusting her seatbelt. "I'm not sure what to expect, but I bet it's nothing like the family gatherings back home." Tammy smirked. "I'm just hoping they have good snacks. If I'm gonna be making fun of royals, I need to be well fed." The sisters made their way to London, and as the cab rolled up to the gates of Buckingham Palace, Amy's jaw dropped. "Whoa," she muttered. "I've seen the palace on TV, but it's way bigger than I imagined." Tammy, ever the provocateur, couldn't resist. "Yeah, I thought the Queen lived in a big house, but this looks like a whole shopping mall. Are they selling anything in there?" Amy snorted, trying to contain her laughter as they entered the palace. The high ceilings and grand staircases didn't faze them. Instead, they took it all in with the sort of unfiltered commentary they were known for. "Is this where the Queen takes her afternoon naps?" Tammy asked, running her hand along the ornate furniture. "'Cause if it's not, I'm taking a nap right here." As they walked through the various rooms and hallways, the sisters started poking fun at the royal artifacts. Amy pointed to a portrait of Queen Victoria. "She looks like she's about to start complaining about the weather," she said, mimicking an exaggerated British accent. "It's too cold in here, isn't it?" Tammy laughed, then did her own version of an aristocratic snob. "I say, Amy, how dare they serve us tea without the proper sugar cubes? What's the world coming to?" But it was when they entered the grand ballroom that things truly took a turn. An official royal butler had been assigned to guide them through the palace, and he gave them a polite, stiff introduction to the space. But Tammy, with her mischievous grin, couldn't keep her thoughts to herself. "Now, if I had a ballroom like this," she said, spinning around, "I'd be hosting a dance-off every weekend." Amy joined in, gliding across the polished floor. "Yeah, forget about waltzing. We'd be doing the electric slide, baby." The butler, a man of few words, looked confused but tried to remain professional. "That's interesting," he said, clearly uncomfortable with the chaos the sisters were introducing into the grandeur of the palace. But the Slaton sisters weren't done yet. As they walked past a series of gold-framed mirrors, Amy winked at her sister. "If they've got all this gold around, where's the fried chicken? And a Coke? This place could use some real comfort food." Tammy giggled. "And some potato chips. I mean, how do you survive all these fancy dinners without a bag of Lay's?" Their humor was not lost on some of the palace staff, who had witnessed plenty of visitors over the years but were not prepared for the sheer unfiltered banter the Slaton sisters brought. Some guards tried their best not to break character, but every now and then a small smile crept across their faces. As the day went on, the sisters managed to make light of the entire experience, from the gold-plated fixtures to the royal gardens. By the time they were invited to join the official royal tea ceremony, they had fully embraced the absurdity of it all. Amy sipped the delicate cup of tea and grimaced. "What's this? Is this tea, or did someone just boil a leaf?" Tammy couldn't resist. "I feel like I'm drinking hot water with a leaf floating in it. Can we get a Pepsi next time?" The room fell into a brief silence. It wasn't just the sisters' humor that caught everyone off guard. It was their confidence. They had turned what was supposed to be a formal, highly exclusive visit into something much more relatable, full of the energy that made them beloved back home. They weren't bowing down to the British royal family. Instead, they were taking the whole affair with a grain of salt and a whole lot of humor. "You know," Amy said as they finally made their way out of the palace, "I think I've had my fill of fancy. I'd take my double-wide trailer and a good old family barbecue over all this any day." Tammy gave her a knowing look. "You're not kidding. I'll take a cheeseburger over tea with the Queen any day." As they left the gates of Buckingham Palace, they couldn't help but laugh at how ridiculous it all was. While the world saw a royal institution steeped in centuries of tradition, the Slaton sisters saw something they could relate to, a big, over-the-top spectacle that didn't make much sense, but sure was a lot of fun. And who knows? Maybe one day, the Queen would invite them back. But next time, they'd make sure to bring a couple of bags of chips and a 6-pack of soda to share with her.